Ladies and gentlemen, today on the LBFBWN News, the status on Zion Williamson and his latest knee injury that he suffered in the last preseason game he played against the San Antonio Spurs. And Michael Jordan has some interesting comments on Steph Curry regarding his Hall of Fame status. All that and more right here on the LBFBWN News. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the LBFBWN News. It is your boy Lewis, and I am back once again with another heavy hitter banger with yet another video. We are covering two topics, ladies and gentlemen, and topic number one is Zion Williamson. So people already know Zion Williamson has suffered a torn meniscus, and he just had successful knee surgery, and he will be out 6 to 8 weeks. And that sucks because Zion Williamson is the number one pick in this past NBA draft, and he was being one of the most featured marketed players because he was supposed to make his season debut, I believe, tonight, or was it supposed to be tomorrow night? I don't know the Pelican schedule, but it sucks because it would have been nice to see because of what Zion means to the NBA in terms of how the hype that he's gotten coming into the draft, how he's played in the preseason, and what people are projecting him to be. Now, if anything, what this meniscus tear should teach Zion Williamson going down the line is to take care of his body. I told you, I'm impressed with his ability in his IQ to learn of offense and defense in terms of using his athleticism to his advantage. Also, being able to play off the ball shows that he's a good passer. He has very good fundamentals for a young player, and you don't see that a lot in today's young players. A lot of players, it takes some time to develop. More so with Zion Williamson, I think he has a good feel for the game. He just has to develop more offensively. And like I said, now that this knee injury has happened, it concerns me for what happens for him coming down the line, which is why this should be a warning sign already to Zion at 19 years old. Kid, you need to get into shape, make sure that you're having the proper nutrition with your diet, and you make sure you try to do your best to stay healthy on the court because, dude, you are a beast. Without question, you are definitely one of the future best players in the game as long as you can stay healthy and work on your game. But, I mean, you had the knee injury, in college? The time that your PG shoe got ripped to shreds, the Paul George 2s, I believe. Then you had the injury before that in Summer League, where you had to sit out the rest of Summer League due to the knee injury. And it's like, because he has such a high bounce, he would have more bounce if he had less weight. And the crazy is he has crazy bounce at 285 pounds. He has great agility. He has the ability to roam all over the court and put an impact. And Zion Williamson is definitely going to do that. But the only way he's going to do that, folks, is that he has to be able to stay on the floor. And that really concerns me, the fact that he's already got a torn meniscus at age 19, and he hasn't even played a regular season game yet. With the amount of hype that he's gotten coming into the NBA. So yeah, I hope that this is a life lesson for Zion Williamson. And like I said, he rebounds. And like I said, obviously I wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. And this time, hopefully it will teach him that he needs to lose weight. Because I just think that having that weight, the injuries are going to come far and they're going to come often. And you just don't want him to be one of those other what-if NBA players. You don't want him to be a bust because of injuries, things like that. We don't want another Sam Bowie. We don't want another Greg Oden. It's like those guys were talented, and if they were healthy, I think they could have done something in this league. The issue was they couldn't stay healthy. Injuries. You look at a guy like Brandon Roy, what sucks about him is he just had injuries. And that was a guy who had a very nice, solid, slender build in Brandon Roy. But he just couldn't stay healthy. That was his problem. And he just had a knee injury. He had a knee issue for a while. And he had to end up retiring. In Zion's case, his issue is he needs to control his weight. And if he can do that, he'll be able to play longer in the NBA. You just don't want your career cut short with all that potential you have. You want to maximize your skill set. You want to be able to work on your craft and show that potential and a lot more, and you want to put that potential into greatness, okay? Availability and durability equals eligibility, A great wise man said that, man. I don't know if I got the order wrong, but you get my point. Those three words, though: availability, durability, eligibility. That's the key. So Zion, hope you recover. But my man, you really need to now start worrying about your nutrition and your health. It's the most important thing if you want to play a long NBA career. Okay? If you want to be part of sponsorships, if you want to make the money, making contracts and all that, and be part of the NBA lifestyle, you got to take care of yourself, my friend. On to the next and last topic. So, you know that Michael Jordan, he already opened 2 clinic hospitals in his home state of North Carolina. And he was on the Today Show with Craig Melvin, which I had put another clip in one of the other videos in talking about Jordan giving back. Well, Jordan made headlines once again. Thank you to Bleacher Report for giving me the notification. Shout out to you guys. So he was asked a question. So Craig Melvin was going on, and there was a 5-minute interview on the Today Show on that part. And Jordan talked about him giving back to the community and why he's giving much more back now in terms of his $30 million in donations in the last 5 years. He's speaking up a lot more. Also, his daughter Jasmine had came into the clinic, and he now is a grandfather, so he has a grandson. So congratulations to Michael. That is a blessing. You know, it's a blessing. He also talked about, him and his company already started. He made his own tequila, you know, and you know he had wanted to sell it. So again, Jordan is just showing you, you know, his ability in terms of his market value and how he's trying to expand things into other ventures. So then you have that. But then, ladies and gentlemen, ready for the drum roll? The question of the day was asked by Craig Melvin and said, back in 2013, you said that there were 4 guys that if you could play a pickup game with any 4 guys, you would pick Magic Johnson, Scottie Pippen, James Worthy, and Hakeem Olajuwon. And he says that the game has changed in the last 6 years. Would you still go with those same 4 guys that you picked back 6 years ago in 2013? And that was Michael on his 50th birthday. He's now 56. Michael said, in a heartbeat, no question. And he said, the reason I would do it is because they had the ability to prove their greatness every single night, and that he would go into the trenches with them because he has played with and against these guys. And if you look at the career, he's played against Hakeem Olajuwon. He played with James Worthy in North Carolina. He played with Scottie Pippen and Magic on the Dream Team, and then Scottie Pippen went against Magic. And Scottie Pippen was Jordan's teammate, not only in Team USA in the '92 Olympics, but throughout their careers from the time Scottie drafted him and Michael played together. And they played what was it, 9 or 10 seasons together? And they won 6 titles in the '90s in 8 years. So there's going to be a little bias towards that, and that's just how Michael feels. So then Craig Melvin goes, so Steph shouldn't be offended by that. And Michael's like, no. He's like, I hope not. He said he's just not a Hall of Famer yet. He's still a great player, but not a Hall of Famer yet. And then as he's about to take his shot at tequila with Craig Melvin, he's like, he's not. And the way that Jordan smiled, so he's smiling about it. And it caused a huge uproar and outrage on Twitter, and people have made videos about it. So here is my take on the situation about Michael Jordan. I think with Michael Jordan, I think what he's trying to say is, it's hard to say, because a part of me thinks that he's saying it because Curry's career isn't done. I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is when he looks at Steph Curry, he looks at this era. And then I think he also, when he looks at Curry, he's kind of like, he looks at him as kind of a Reggie Miller type player. And what do you mean by that, Lewis? Well, if you look at Reggie Miller's mostly known as what? A great shooter, especially from the three-point line. Curry can obviously do more than just shoot the three. And Michael, even one time, I believe he said that playing against Reggie Miller was kind of like playing against a woman. Because Reggie Miller pretty much gets a lot of his points through motion, his ability to stay moving. And Reggie conditions himself to come off screens and constantly stay in motion and move. The funny thing is, though, with Steph Curry, the motion offense that the Warriors play right now was very similar to what Don Nelson was playing back in the day with his version of the Warriors back then. And that's why I said that if you look at the stats on some of the early Warrior teams, they're similar to the Golden State Warriors of today's game, especially when you consider that Kevin Durant was on 2 of those title teams in 2017 and 2018. So Steph Curry obviously is a Hall of Famer. Like, there's no question about it. There's no question. This is why I told you this is his whole new school versus old school. And I made a video about that a while ago. And I think it's about players respecting in terms of what players have done in the past. And that's why I always say learn your history and respect the guys that paved the way for the guys that are playing today. And like I said, have some of the privileges that some of the older players didn't have back in their time. So just like I'm not going to blame, Jordan for being born in the era that he was in, or LeBron being born in the era that he's in, it's like the same thing that you got to say about Steph Curry. Like, that's not his fault that he's in the era that he played in. And when you consider Steph Curry's career, this guy was not even supposed to be in the NBA. And his father, Del Curry, played 17 seasons in the NBA. And he was a great shooter, but that was the only thing he did, to shoot. That's what he's mostly known for. Steph Curry was not even supposed to be in the league. He almost didn't make it to college. A lot of the recruits, when he was trying to get recruited to a school, they all looked at him and said he was too small to be an NBA player. And Curry proved people wrong on the national stage in Davidson in the NCAA tournament and when he played there. Then in the NBA, you have to consider that Steph Curry, as talented as he was, and he was a very good skilled ball player, a lot of people looked at him as a very good point guard. He would be like a good, serviceable, very solid point guard in this league who maybe might make an all-star team. There were people like Skip Bayless and shout out to my man RB the Breakthrough. They were saying that Curry was going to be an MVP and an NBA champion because of his game. A lot of people thought they were crazy. A lot of people didn't think that Curry was going to be a great player. See, I was one of those that I said that I think Curry would have won a championship, and I said maybe he would have won an MVP. People just thought you were crazy because they're like, a guy like that, he doesn't look like he can be an MVP type player, especially in today's NBA. Remember, Curry had ankle injuries that would have told you that Curry would have probably never played again. He would have been one of those skilled players that would have been he would have been a what if Curry had stayed healthy. And we would have been breaking down a rundown of his early, first 4 or 5 seasons. And then we would have been judging him accordingly as to what was he doing and then what potential he would have had. Curry changed all that by becoming more healthy in the last couple of seasons, in the last, 4 seasons or so. And he was able to prove people wrong. And as a result, he's won 2 MVPs. He's won 3 titles on the Golden State Warriors. Curry's amassing close to 20,000 points at the point guard position. Curry's 3rd all-time in three-pointers made. His career of 47.7% shooting from the field, 43.6% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line, 47, 43, 90 splits. Shooting damn near 50, 40, 90 for his career. You could say it's because of this inflated era, but I'm still not going to take away what Steph Curry's accomplished in his career. So he's definitely a Hall of Famer. So if Steph Curry's not a Hall of Famer yet, then that means that a lot of guys that are in the Hall of Fame who I don't even believe should be in the Hall of Fame should not be there then, if Steph Curry's not a Hall of Famer. Because Steph Curry has accomplishments that a lot of guys that are in the Hall of Fame don't have. So maybe Michael was just joking about it. Because if you remember, what did Michael Jordan say about Steph Curry in the 73-9 season when the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead to the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James? What did Ron Harper say? That Michael Jordan was looking at that 73-9 team as a joke, and that the 96 Bulls would have, they would have walloped and creamed the 2016 Golden State Warriors that won 73 games and set an NBA record for most road wins in an NBA season with 34. That's what the Bulls were. That's what Jordan was saying. So he subliminally threw shots at Curry, and I just think that Curry's career is not done yet, and Curry's entering, I think, his 11th or 12th season. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, Steph Curry's definitely a Hall of Famer because he has a Hall of Fame resume. Steph Curry could retire right now through 10 years. He has a Hall of Fame resume. He has things that guys even in the Hall of Fame don't have. So like I said, if Steph Curry's not a Hall of Famer, then you got to take a lot of those guys that are making the Hall of Fame because they're connecting their college career with it. So, what are we talking about here? And I think it's like the disrespect that Steph Curry is getting, like, really needs to stop. This isn't him putting him above any other player currently. And my thing is, Curry has made his way into the top 30 of players of all time. If you're in the top 30 out of 100 career NBA players, you are definitely a Hall of Famer. Which is why I told you that it's BS that when you have people putting personal agendas of putting players on top of other players, that's because of their favorite player for them, they feel like is better than the other ones. But that still doesn't mean that whether you have Curry in the top 10, top 20, top 30, he's still a great player. Considering that he's just more than a shooter. He just has to do a better job IQ-wise on the offensive end. But he has all the tools in terms of his fundamental skills, his ability to shoot the shot very quickly, his ability to shoot many different ways to shoot the ball off the dribble. I mean, Reggie Miller was not good at that. Reggie, for the most part, came off of screens. Reggie occasionally put the ball on the floor. For the most part, it was to go to the basket. And at times, he would take mid-range shots. But Reggie Miller was known as that three-point killer assassin, especially in the playoffs. But to disrespect Steph Curry with the career he's had, all because of this inflated era, that's a slap in the face to how hard he's had to work. This guy almost didn't even have an NBA career. He got a 4-year, $44 million deal. He went from that to an unsure NBA career to a $201 million man who's played 10 years in the NBA and has won 2 championships, 3 championships, and 2 regular season MVPs. And I think for Curry to move even higher on the top greatest players of all time, he needs to get himself a Finals MVP in there. Because if you guys remember, the thing is, point guards are not mostly known to get that Finals MVP award. They're either big men, for the most part it's big men. Rarely have guards won a Finals MVP. It's mostly been big men and small forwards, but mostly the big men. If you look at NBA history, if you look at all of the NBA Finals that's been played, very few point guards have won Finals MVP. You're looking at guys like Chauncey Billups. You're looking at guys like Tony Parker, guys like that, who they don't even have the resume that Steph Curry has. Well, Parker in terms of championships, because he has 4. But I mean, Tony Parker was never the best player in an NBA season, which Steph Curry was. And Steph Curry is one of the more underrated leaders in NBA history and one of the most impactful players in NBA history. So to say that dude is not a Hall of Famer, I mean, is ridiculous. But I think what Michael basically was trying to say was, I guess he wants his career to be done. But I think if you look at Steph Curry's career in a 10-year resume for what he's done, it's Hall of Fame worthy, especially considering he's playing in the most demanding position in the NBA, which would be in football, the quarterback, and that's the point guard position. So yeah, maybe Michael was joking about it. Like I said, I think he looks at Curry. He says he's a great player, but I feel like he's looking at Curry kind of like a Reggie Miller type in terms of like their style of shooting. But the thing is, Curry's so much different than Reggie. Number one, they play different positions, and number two, Curry could do things that Reggie can't do, that Reggie was never really known for in his whole career. Man, so I think it's crazy, and the media's going to make a big overblown about this. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Lewis back with another one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on the Zion Williamson injury and on Michael Jordan saying Steph Curry is not a Hall of Famer yet. Great player, but not a Hall of Famer yet. While taking a shot of tequila, his branded tequila, with Craig Melvin on the Today Show in their one-on-one interview. But anyway, once again, man, it is your boy. Bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank you for watching. You already know my deal, fellas, man. Let's hit up with another banger. Let's end it.